Why, hello there. If you don't already recognize my sultry voice, this is DJartt of the High Score 510 podcast. First of all, I would like to thank you for listening to our show. Second of all, I want to remind you with a shameless plug of our Patreon page. Join our growing community and help support an indie podcast. The perks of being a patron, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Number one, you'll get our weekly quick hitters. Number two, you'll get feature conversations that are too hot for our regular show. And number three, we cannot leave out number three. Why, Jesus will bless you. So go check out patreon.com/highscore510. And for the price of a tall pumpkin spice latte, you can help AG3 afford his Peloton subscription. Regardless of which, we appreciate your support and hope you enjoy the show.
You are listening to High School 510, where sports is the plane, comedy is the pilot, and the sweet Jeeba is our jet fuel. Please sit back and enjoy the ride.
You know, I knew Obama pull-out game was strong back in the day when he pulled us out of Afghanistan. See, that was only the second time I knew his pull-out game was strong. After I saw those pictures of Michelle Obama thickness, this man must got the greatest pull-out game in the world, because I would have had more kids than the Kennedys.
I'd say his pull-out game 50-50. He didn't pull us out of Guantanamo Bay, so...
Maybe he didn't pull out of Guantanamo Bay because he was pulling out other things.
No. He didn't pull us out of Guantanamo Bay because Marcus and Mike Lowry taking care of business down there.
yeah, they going to Cuba blowing up mansions.
They taking out entire favelas, bro. I was like, now you can't drive through all those shanties and be like, we didn't hit nobody. Y'all motherfuckers for sure kill somebody.
There was at least a grandma in there asleep or sitting on some chair. Some kids, some babies that couldn't move. Yeah. They ran through all this shanty town. they blew up the rich people and the poor people in that movie. Michael Bay.
Yeah. Hell yeah, blew up everything.
I remember I sold a game back there faster than I bought it. Watch Dogs.
Gotta be the first one.
The first one. Sold it back the same day I bought it.
Did they give you top dollar or did they give you store credit?
They gave me like $35. I didn't even want store credit. I just took $35. I was like, man, you know what? That's $15 loss.
Another Ubisoft game.
That was the original, not even the original Okie Doke, but they popularized the Okie Doke because on E3 they had like the best reveal, but then gameplay was one of the worst. It was glitchy, it was buggy, it was bad. It was like, what is this? It almost looked like last gen.
Yeah, I don't know. Ubisoft games, the button layout always seems to suck, and there always just seems to be a limited amount of like things you actually can do when they're trying to make it some open world shit. And I'd be like, why is there not more you can do?
And it's a great concept.
Yeah, it's great concept. They got one dude coming out with great concepts, but they only got 3 people who can program. Like, man, we can't program all that. You want open world? Yeah. Like, we can give you that early 2000s open world gameplay on PC.
I can see the rinse and repeat. There's got to be one dude working every storyline because every Far Cry, you got to go to one. You got to go to like one tower. You got to, and it's Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. You always got to like climb up this damn tower and then like survey the area or like sink the area, and then you jump off. I'm like, all right. I feel like I've been doing this for like 14 years now.
Because they always want to be able to use that imagery of you jumping and doing like swan dive off the tower for any Assassin's Creed. Like, man, that's tight. Oh shit, looking like the Crow. Like, hey, man, call me because I'm like Bruce Lee's son.
They even programmed in for you to like, you have to do it. And like every Assassin's Creed,
Creed.
If you want to see your whole map, you got to go up there and then hit the dive button, and while it slows down, you can see farther.
Every Ubisoft game, you got to like go to like some checkpoints and like sync your shit.
Yeah, Ubisoft needs to learn how to sync their shit to be good. Like sync that to some better quality. Yeah, I first got on Ubisoft how bad it was when I was on Wii and I bought a Ubisoft game.
Oh, Wii, like, that sound bad.
It was like Ninja Gaiden game or something like that, where you're supposed to be a ninja and move around and you're supposed to do all this stuff. But like, no matter how many different strokes or the ways that I swung my thing, he did the same move. Like they said there was like 20 different moves I could do, bro. I was stuck doing the same move. I got stuck running into a wall. I was stuck against a wall. Dude, it was terrible. It was well, I should have known. I bought it pre-played at Blockbuster.
Ah, shit. Wow. That was a while ago. What Blockbuster you went to when the Wii was out?
Jarrett loved Blockbuster. He went to it in his final hours. You know how you hold on to like your family member's hand in their final minutes? That was Jarrett at Blockbuster.
I was the devoted.
He was sitting there in the hospital room, holding the hand, trying to hold the tears back, trying to be strong. That was Jarrett. He was like, man, we might pull through this. You already filed bankruptcy. You so they ain't a single shelf on this.
This is how bad it was. I went to the Blockbuster in Stockton just so I can get better deals.
Oh God.
That was Jarrett. Jarrett stayed true to Blockbuster. I miss Blockbuster, but Jarrett stayed true. See, here's the thing. Even though I fuck with Blockbuster, I still did the mom and pop ones too. I love Real. I love
Hollywood Video.
Video. I did the small ones. There was a small one. Pedro, you remember in our neighborhood, the one up the street that Anton was working at?
Yeah, that's where I used to get all my porn from.
That's what I said. He was written out porn like there.
Shout out to Ski Lee. Hood Heavy, Neighborhood Heavy.
Neighborhood Heavy. Shout out sponsorship. Did y'all listen to the episode I dropped early this morning?
No. Oh, you dropped the game? I didn't listen to it.
I dropped the thing.
No, I didn't get any. I don't have Wi-Fi, so it ain't gonna load.
Okay. Well, to all our fans out there and anybody who is new to the show, make sure you go on to our iTunes page or anywhere you can find our podcast, any podcast platform, and make sure you download and listen to our Thanksgiving special Black Jeopardy game, because it's only going to be up for a week. After Thanksgiving, we're going to take it down and put it on our Patreon page. So if you want to hear it now while it's free, make sure you get on.
Shout out sponsorship to all the Native Americans.
Yeah, shout out to all our Native Americans out there. Sponsorship. I know that a lot of that episode was bringing up past traumas brought upon our natives, indigenous people, by the forces of beautiful white women. Well, maybe not the forces of beautiful white women, but
how the heck got to do with white women, man?
The forces of protecting beautiful white women.
Man, they was trying to protect their rights to be colonizers. That's the only thing they were trying to protect.
All right. Well,
leaving persecution to start more persecution.
Yeah, it's like we're leaving persecution and non-free will to take that same approach and put it on other people, which is crazy when you think about it. Like, and people don't talk about the psychology of that, but like the psychology of, you knowing how to do unto others what you've been taught and what's been done unto you. And until we talk about that as a country, we're not gonna get to the root of it. Doesn't mean that we have to do cancel culture, but it also doesn't mean that some things can't be canceled, right? So I think it's important to be out there with that conversation. All right, well, Kiegan, I need a letter.
Let's go with I.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right. Infantile. Implications. Igriega.
What the hell is that even a real word?
Ignorant. Ill-suited. Illmatic. Elian Gonzalez. Elian Gonzalez.
That was with an E, man.
No, Elian was spelled with the I, player.
E, man.
Elian and Fidel. Let me look it up real quick. Elian Gonzalez, bro. I'm about to find that for you.
I know, that's how it's pronounced. You saying it wrong, goddammit. You always talk about me saying things wrong. Elian Gonzalez, dude.
Maybe it was the E. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the High Score 510 podcast. You can catch us at High Score 510 on Instagram, the YouTube, and not quite the Twitter, but you can also check us out at our Patreon page at patreon.com/High Score 510. You can get all our exclusive content and our bonus conversations and our quick hitters. You can also email the show at highscore510.fans@gmail.com, and we can read out some of your fan mail to the show. Anyways, we are here with...
this is Aaron Grayson III, also known as AG3, coming at you faster than Aaron Fox, running to grab a pen so he can hurry up and ink that deal before people wake up and realize what the hell they offered him. They paying people by 40 times down in basketball. I didn't know that. I didn't know they paying people by 40 times.
People, we got to talk to God.
And we are here with.
Hello, everyone. This is your friendly captain, Captain P-Funk, coming to you like the second wave of that Rona.
I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem.
And we are here with.
This is your boy Sticky Kies coming at you faster than Trevor Ariza getting traded to the next team.
Last week in lunch, Riley says to a classmate, "Can a nigga borrow a French fry?" And my first thought wasn't, "Oh my God, he said the word, the N-word." It was, "Now how is a nigga gonna borrow a fry? Nigga, is you gonna give it back?"
And my name is Jared, aka DJartt, with 2 T's for a double dose of that ting ting. The D is silent, so it's just Jarnt.
Hey, drink booty sweat, baby.
Drink booty sweat, baby. Drink booty sweat. One of the most underappreciated
booty sweat
of all time.
Hey,
Keegan, you ever watched the director's cut?
Nah, I got it.
Oh my God, you gotta watch the director cut. If you want to watch the director cut of Chapter, you can't watch the regular version anymore.
That's one of my top. That's one of my top 5 movies of all time. I think that movie.
Then you gotta watch the director's cut because it's more lines. It just gets even funnier. You're like, oh my God, this is way better. There's so many more lines.
Yeah,
man.
they didn't cut out as much Robert Downey Jr. parts. There's a couple extra Robert Downey Jr. parts that
just take it over the top of hilariousness.
What I love about that movie is that for its time, it was a great movie. I don't think you can make that movie now, just because of the Robert Downey Jr. part.
Yeah, the council culture.
Yeah.
Oh well, and also the Ben Stiller part where he played Simple
Jack.
Simple Jack. Yeah, they got mad at that. Shaun White got in trouble for a couple years ago for dressing up as Simple Jack on Halloween.
Like, man, that's a made up character he dressed up. It'd be one thing if he chose a real special needs kid and dressed up like him.
Yeah,
like he dressed up like Helen Keller.
Hey, I wonder why they don't cancel. Have they canceled South Park yet?
Hell no.
No, and they hit on everything.
That's probably why they make fun of everybody.
Them and Family Guy. I think that is the key. You gotta like Family Guy too. You gotta be like, hey, I make fun of everybody.
Yeah. They don't hold back. They make everybody look bad in some way, shape, or form.
They don't discriminate
with their libertarian politics.
Now, they made an episode about special needs kids doing steroids in the Special Olympics.
That was the one with Cartman. Cartman was trying to win in the Special Olympics, and then he realized that like some of these kids were actually like really good athletes.
Did you laugh at that, Pedro?
Oh, it was crazy.
Yep.
See, the problem with South Park, Jared, one thing I hate is when South Park really started hitting their stride and doing those special episodes that had to do with like modern day things.
Mm-hmm.
They never title it anything so you can figure the shit out. So I was already behind on South Park. People were like, hey man, you got to watch the one with the Cartman and the basketball players, right?
Mm-hmm.
the whole slavery to NCAA slavery.
The basketball Americans.
Shit. Yeah, I'm trying. Yes, the basketball Americans. I'm trying to find it, right? And I remember it was making fun of NC2A with the Cartman and the kickball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find it because it's like no one knows the title of the damn episode. They're like, man, you gotta watch that one. Everyone always said, man, did you see the Kanye West one? That one I actually saw when it first came out.
The fish sticks
one. But they never a title, or no one can tell you the number of the episode or what the title is.
Yeah,
I can't even tell what season that's in.
That's the problem. That's what happens with it.
But it's only because South Park been around for like 20 something years now. Closer.
Yeah.
Going on 30.
Close to 25 years now.
Yes, is it 25? Like I told you, it's 96.
96 or 97.
97 when I went to the film festival.
I think they started in 97 or 98 was like when their first season. So
97.
They were, so that's 23 years.
23 years. Ooh.
Yeah, so they're almost 25 years old. All right, well, let's get into it. We got a good show spelled out for you today. We got some question of the day coming up. We also have some fan mail, and we are going to talk sports. We're going to talk about the NBA state of affairs. Primarily, we're going to talk about the Warriors, the draft, and free agency. And then we'll get some quick hitters and call it a day. So, fan mail. You guys ready for some fan mail?
Ready.
All right.
We talking about fan mail like T-Boz and them and TLC?
Oh, that third album or is that the second album?
That was the third album. Second album was Red Light District.
They had a third album?
The third album was Fat Mail.
That's the one that had no scrubs. That's the one that had no scrubs.
Oh, okay.
I don't want no pigeon. I remember they came up with a remake called Pigeon, and I was like,
Pigeons, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that was just stupid. I thought it was kind of corny. I was like, y'all are kind of whack, but I guess it was a rebuttal thing.
It also had Unpretty, which was a tight song.
So unpretty too.
And Silly Ho.
They really tried to hook up your girl Chili with some lead vocals in that. And you realize she was not there for lead vocals.
Chili could sing a little bit. She
was not there for lead vocals. She would have had a solo career if she was there for lead vocals. Well, we got Brandon here. Brandon, man, welcome back. Welcome back,
man. Full-time family man these days.
Seriously, man. Hey, thank you for making it to the show on Wednesday, though, man. Your multitasking really helped out.
First of all, I'm gonna let everybody on the show know that there was not a Survey Monkey sent out about when's a good time for everybody. There wasn't a phone call, there wasn't a text thread, an email thread. He's like, hey, you coming on the show today? I was like, yeah, on Tuesday. Yeah, for sure. Basically, I can record anytime between 9 and 5:30, Monday through Thursday. Hey, what time are you gonna do it? Hey, we're gonna do it tomorrow at 6:30. What? And I was like, that's literally the worst time you could pick. Like, if you would pick 8:30, maybe. If you'd have picked 5:30.
If I'd known that, Brandon, I could have worked it at, we could have worked at 3:30.
Yeah, we could have done it later. I could have done it later. Albert was like, yeah, I could do it like after 9.
Yeah, I was home at 3.
But
I was home at 3.
It was tough. I'm sorry, Brandon. But Brandon, let's also not ignore that you answering texts is almost as bad as me answering emails now. Just go.
That is true.
I will put that out there.
That is true.
That Survey Monkey was in my email. Fuck. I'm like, Brandon, that Survey Monkey was in my text. Dagnabbit. Gosh narbit.
You might as well just left your package in East Oakland on your doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well.
Yep. I put the Survey Monkey in a 63-inch flat screen TV box and put it in front of your building, Aaron. Go ahead and take that survey. It's like, no, it ain't there.
Craziest thing, the TV would be gone, but the box would still be there with about 10 pounds of trash trying to squeeze inside.
Anyways, all right. Well, fan mail this week from one of our Patreons, Soul Raider, wrote this. DJartt needs to put on more weight if he wants to really be the chicken wing king. But I want to know, what is the best way to eat a wing? He also attached this video to it, so I'm going to share my screen real quick.
I'm going to keep it real, my boy. I'm the king of chicken wings. What can you really show? Wow. I ain't going to lie, man. You just showed me something new. I've been eating chicken wings wrong.
I've eaten the wings like that before.
So what is the best way to eat a chicken wing?
I'm just going to say that style that you just showed is not really, it's not, you're not able to generalize it. Just because you can't do that everywhere you eat chicken wings.
No,
because you're really a chicken wing king. You're gonna be chicken wings in your car. You're gonna eat chicken wings at your house. You're gonna eat chicken wings on the back of your car, with a plate on a trunk. And you can't do that everywhere. Like, I can't do that while I'm driving. Just push down this chicken wing bone. Like, sometimes you just got to be able to power through that.
He kind of treats that chicken wing like a push pop.
Yeah. So if you for our listeners, what the man is doing in this video is he takes one end of the chicken wing, the wing. And on a paper towel on his table, he pinches the top and pushes the wing onto the table, and the skin slides down, the meat all slides down to one end, and then he just bites it off the other end. Well, I've seen a couple ways. So this is another way I've seen how to eat a wing. I have my own personal way of eating a wing, but I've also seen one Mr. Ed Hipster Hill also
the best way I've ever
debone a wing and turn it into a nugget. So I'm trying to figure out, in your opinion, guys, what is the best way to eat a wing?
Okay, it seems like I'm gonna have to do a video because y'all tripping. like Brandon just said, be the chicken wing king. You can't just be in one state. You can't be in one place. You can't be at the table. You gotta learn how to eat chicken wings while checking the oil. You got to learn how to eat chicken wings while fastening the trailer. You got to learn how to eat chicken wings while holding the steering wheel, going around the block, switching 10 gears. Unless any of y'all ever done that, you're not the chicken wing king. Y'all not understanding. You're not understanding what it takes to be a chicken wing king. You can't go and say, hey, we're going to go to this spot. Shout out sponsorship, Edward Hill. Oh, we're going to go to this spot up in Oakland. They got chicken wings. Nah, I've been all across the country. I've been in gas stations. I've been in strip clubs. I've been at gas stations on top of gas stations.
He's been at strip clubs on top of gas stations.
I've been at a strip club on top of a gas station. I think doing what this guy did in the video of pushing everything down off the bone into like a little clump and then biting it off, or to what Ed Senor Hipster Hill does, where he debones the thing for 5 minutes before finally eating the motherfucker.
I don't know if it was 5 minutes. I think he was just busy talking. He deboned that real. The fact that the bone was clean. He didn't have a single thing on that bone.
Well, anyways, all I'm gonna say is that to eat a wing, especially a wing, you gotta really like. There's levels to it, man. There's different textures and types of meat on it, and there's different types of skin on it. Thus, the flavor of your sauce, the way it fries, and the texture of the meat is different. So for me, I'm somebody who I like to eat my wings not as a nugget, not as one just fleshy piece of meat without the bone, because I like working around the bone, because that tells me what part of the meat I'm on, what's the part of the wing I'm on, and it's gonna have a different flavor. And I prioritize how I eat it based upon that.
I'm actually not a huge chicken wing fan. I feel like chicken wings are just a lot of fucking work for a little bit of meat. I'm more of like a leg person myself. Every time I eat a chicken wing, I feel like a little rat because it's hella tiny. I gotta use 2 hands to eat it, and then I'm chewing it with I'm trying to bite into it with my 2 front teeth, and I'm like, it's fucking irritating to me. That's why I don't like fucking chicken wings. That's why I'm a lazy eater. Give me all the meat all at one spot. I can eat it that way. Ooh, and then like the chicken wing, they got that little separation, right? And so you got to get the meat in between that. So when I was younger, I honestly would just kind of stick my tongue in it and just push the meat out. But then that felt a little bit weird. I feel like I was trying to eat off the chicken because I'm trying to stick my tongue in it.
Feel like he was practicing for the future.
Right? That's what I felt like. Hey, never mind, I'm not gonna get into that. But anyways, so it just felt weird. So I was like, man, I didn't like chicken wing for the longest, and I still don't.
Now I was like you, Kiegan. I didn't like chicken wings. I didn't start liking chicken wings until Jared and Edward Hill talking about they the chicken wing king. Him, the Darius, shout out sponsorship, talking about they the chicken wing king. I was like, no, let me put a stop to this. I'm gonna start eating chicken wings. There ain't no real chicken wing kings over there.
But part of being a king is also living a regal lifestyle and enjoying it and indulging in being the king of the wings. Now, if you eating it like a goddamn one-piece nugget and you just throwing a whole just chunk of meat in your mouth, yeah, you're going to get a little bit of flavor. But are you really making it last? Are you really engaging the meat for its textures and flavors properly?
I'm engaging the meat. Wow.
Are you making love to this?
I don't even eat a chicken nugget whole. I take bites of it. I dip it in the sauce or make sure, I enjoy the morsels of it. A lot of these people I keep seeing eating it, they over here ripping all the goddamn meat off the goddamn bone at once in one big bite. I'm like, yeah, so you eating like a crocodile now. Good job. You know what I'm saying? Crocodiles don't have great taste buds. All right. I'm somebody who likes to indulge and enjoy the morseliness of the meat.
Jared, that's just because you grew up in a household with 2 parents, okay? Like I eat like I lived in a group home. I need to eat this meat quickly as fast as possible.
Because Brandon had football. Brandon had him and his brothers. These are football players. It was like if you wanted seconds, you had to finish your first. So it wasn't. You didn't have time.
You know what? That makes you not regal. That makes you sound like a peasant.
Competitive eating, man.
So how can anybody be
families?
A wing king is somebody who knows how to enjoy the wing. Who doesn't have to worry about having to fight somebody off for the other wing. I ain't worried about that. I'm enjoying this
Jared.
wing.
Are chicken wings an appetizer, a main course, or full meal?
They are for sure an appetizer.
Nah, you can make it to a whole meal, man.
If you can make it to a whole meal if you a peasant.
See, if you eating an appetizer, that tells me you grew up in a whole different way. That's like, you know what that is?
Problem.
You know what that's telling me, Brandon? That's telling me that somebody who grew up with the silver spoon could be the grits king. And it's like, no, you can't be the grits king because you over here eating grits as a certain way. You eating chicken wings as an appetizer.
No, he calls it white polenta. That's what he calls it.
No.
Basically, yeah. You over there, you grew up eating polenta, and then you gonna sit here and talk about you the grits king, right? Mm-hmm. You trying to take chicken wing king and you eating it as an appetizer. No, man. You go ahead and put 30 of them on my plate, and that's the main meal. And guess what my vegetable is? Celery.
Oh, I was gonna say
well, see,
celery. I thought you took the celery to chucking at people for messing with your wings.
That was your defense mechanism. It's like your little joust for other people's fingers, like stick. No, hey, I'm gonna tell you this though. That's why y'all ain't the wing kings, and why y'all never could be the wing kings, because y'all got a mentality of a peasant. You know how inefficient wings are? Wings are a delicacy because of the fact that each chicken comes with 2 of them and you cutting them off. You know what the real meat of a chicken is? It's in the breasts. It's in the thighs. So while y'all over here making full meals out of the wings, I'm making full meals out of the other shit. That's why I'm a king leading that regal lifestyle, because I know it's better. Intent is also a part of the formula.
So it sounds like you're the chicken king, because you just basically said the wings, the appetizer, the breasts are the entree, and it washes down with these thighs.
I agree, Brandon. Sound like the chicken king.
So when you Aaron's like, man, I'll just go ahead and kill 15 chickens. I don't need the rest of the meat. Just give me their wings. You said give me 30 wings on a plate, nigga. You just killed 15 chickens for nothing else. Dude, that's why you.
I'm sure they already dead.
He eats oxtails too, man. He gets multiple oxtails.
Yes, I mean, I ain't touching the ox. You give me the tails though. I'm good.
Wait a minute, oxtail. Yeah. Oxtail has become a fine delicacy now.
Man, the white people stole it.
They colonized
oxtails. They colonized oxtails.
There's two things white people need to do. Give us back our neighborhood and give us back our oxtail.
It was the NBA draft. And also NBA free agency kicked off. However, we need to get, as an Oakland sports podcast, we need to get to the real news. Klay Thompson tore his Achilles this week. He is done for this upcoming season. And there's no telling for his career what this could imply, coming off an ACL on one leg and then a Achilles on the other. You know, what do you guys think about Klay Thompson's injury, and what do you think the prospects of him actually being able to come back are, and at what capacity?
Well, I think he's done being an elite defender, but like him shooting the ball is not going to change, right? Like he doesn't necessarily need that level of separation to shoot his shot. Mm-hmm. He might be more susceptible to getting a shot blocked, because he won't be able to jump maybe just as high or jumps quickly. But no, I think he'll be fine. And I think by the time he comes back, I think the Warriors have figured out a way, like found another defender to do the job that he was doing before. Mm-hmm. And it might be more of a situation where, he splits time with somebody. But I think Klay will be fine coming back from an injury.
He's older, so he's older. His those things were going to decline anyway. Where I'm concerned, being on, I believe it was on the same. Was it on the opposite leg or the same leg?
Opposite.
It's opposite leg, yeah.
It's on the opposite. Okay, yeah. So you got a lot of compound injuries there. He's already getting older. You're talking about the defense. I don't even know if he's going to get to the spots. Klay was excellent at getting to his spots, getting his shot off, and being so quick at it. Now he's going to have to rely on his quickness, and I don't know if he can do that as he's aging.
I kind of agree with Brandon. His defense is what's going to suffer. Lateral movement, things like that. Yeah, he's going to lose some quickness, but I could see him being, because he was so phenomenal. Unlike like Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice couldn't shoot off the spot up. Glenn Rice could only shoot off the dribble. He couldn't shoot off a pick. He couldn't shoot off spot up. Remember, Phil Jackson wrote about that in his book, and someone else wrote about that at the Lakers. Like when he came to Lakers, they were like, oh my God, we didn't realize like he's a good shooter, but how it has to be a certain way.
They got to just release that book.
Yeah. Klay wasn't that way. Klay could shoot spot up. He could come off a pick. He could shoot off the dribble. He's just one of the best shooters I've ever seen.
Pull
ever.
Up. Yeah. But I'm concerned, but with that speed that he had.
But he runs fast to get open. But even now, I think he's such. And the thing is, I was listening to a podcast and the Ringer, and they were talking about like Klay going over film. They're like, Klay's a basketball junkie. And I think, if he loses that quickness, like Reggie Miller was never as quick as Klay. But you learn how to read a screen and read a defense and come off of that. Because someone like Klay, you don't need a lot of space to get that shot off and be awesome.
No, that's why I'm optimistic about Klay.
Yeah, I think
he can get
Klay
his shot off real fast.
Exactly, and I think he'll sit back. I think he'll watch Reggie Miller. I think he'll watch other players who did it in the past, who came up on the screen. Rip Hamilton, that's what I was just about to say. Rip Hamilton, another phenomenal guy that without athletic ability, he wasn't non-athletic, but he wasn't faster than the defenders. He didn't jump higher, but you get savvy. You learn how to come off the screen. For guys guarding you on your left, how to come off the back, how to rub them off enough. The key is with the Warriors go out and get some better people at setting picks, right? Can Wiseman get better? Can he get like what Bogut was? Bogut was one of the, what I always tell you, Jared, about the art. There's an art to pick setting, right? That's been lost in the NBA.
Yeah.
Jared, I talked to you about this months ago, right? Like, and I said, people like Reggie Jackson, what was it, Reggie Jackson? What was his name I told you? Was it Reggie Jackson? Reggie Evans. Reggie Evans.
Yeah.
Best pick setter I've ever seen in my life.
Screens and offensive rebound. That's what his forte was.
It's easy to do a pick and roll, pick on the ball. That's easy. It's harder to be a great pick setter for someone that's coming off that needs to get open. And Rick Smits was that. Dale Davis was that. Antonio Davis. Rasheed Wallace was great.
I was just about to say the Davis boys was great.
Yeah, those guys are good. Yeah. Dale and Oakland's own.
Antonio Davis.
Yeah,
Antonio Davis, yeah. If they can start learning how to, and it's been lost in the NBA. If you look, pick setting is lost. If we can get back to that place and the worst, and people can see, look, I got these great shooters. I can get them open. We don't have to pick on the ball. We could just be savvy enough and set good, decent picks. And I think Klay's going to be fine offensively.
Kiegan, what you think? Do you think Klay is done? Do you think Klay's still got some definitely good, close to prime years left, or what it's going to take for him to be that player or close to that player he was?
They said that, so first they said that he's going to make a clean recovery. I think we're just going to have a Zach Randolph that can shoot threes. If you ever look at Zach Randolph,
Zach Randolph was a power forward.
Yeah. Have you ever seen him jump more than 2 inches off the ground to get a rebound?
No.
He didn't jump 2 inches when he was in college, though.
Right? Exactly. You're just gonna get that, but with you're gonna get that with Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson gonna get like 2 inches off the ground and make hella threes. If you look at the Rockets system, literally PJ Tucker, he sits there in the corner. He sits there, wait for the ball to come to him.
Why you naming his weak ass?
All he does is sit there in the corner, wait for the ball to come to him, and he shoot a wide open three. He doesn't move. He doesn't move 3 feet to the left or three feet to the right. He sits in the same corner and he makes hella threes.
There's a reason why he open, because he's not that good.
The reason why they left Bruce Bowen open for all those times. He just happened to prove people wrong just enough for them to get a title.
Just enough. Just those 3 times a game. Clay's not going to be open sitting in no corner. I don't care if he's in a wheelchair.
Open in the corner.
Here's what I'll say. Klay Thompson, as somebody who tore their Achilles, it's never the same. So, he already tore his knee. That's never going to quite be the same. He just tore his Achilles. That's never going to be the same. You can get close. I think he's going to need to talk to Ray Allen and figure out, how Ray Allen get his calf so big. A big part of Klay's game is his quick release, but also the lift he gets. He gets up in the air when he shoots. He's not, and sometimes he does like a little set shot, but yeah, getting open, getting those small windows to shoot is going to be key. But whether or not he has that same ability to adapt to the fact that maybe he doesn't get the same lift he used to get on his shots, and that he has to adapt to what his body's able to do and see if he can adjust to be as efficient or close to as efficient with maybe slightly different mechanics or performance out of his body. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can replace a part in the car, right? And depending on the part you get, like, it's never going to be the same as the original part, right? So same thing with your body. You have these surgeries, you have these things to replace or fix the part that's failed. It's never quite the same. It's never as was new. So can he adjust and still maximize his body for that same performance will be key. So I think he's going to be all right, because his game will play into that.
And what's the one thing they say about shooters? Shooters going to shoot.
How to shoot.
Shooters shoot. But also shooters start clanking that rim real hard as they get aged up in their career, because the explosion's gone in their normal jump.
Nah, that's why Kyle Korver still is in the league. He
But let me tell you this.
but all he does is shoot threes.
The greatest story I ever heard, Jalen Rose said, no, not Jalen Rose. It was somebody with the Pacers recently. It was either Oladipo, someone from this recent Pacer team. Said Larry Bird, he's a GM. He walked in the Pacers gym. They're having practice. They were having a talk on the other end with the coach. Said Larry Bird in a full suit with the suit jacket on, walks over to the ball rack, drains every shot in the ball rack from 3, and just walks out. And walks out. Shooters never forget how to shoot. If you're a high-end shooter like Klay, Baird, I'm sure Reggie, if Reggie was to just go out there, don't even put on sneaks, he'll just drain a bunch of them.
Shooters gonna shoot.
It's an especially big hit for the Warriors because what Klay Thompson means, like he's like that prime baseline ingredient for the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? I always equated Draymond Green as the salt of the Warriors recipe. You know what I'm saying? And then Steph and Klay were like premier premium ingredients, quality ingredients. Like Steph Curry is like the super fancy, super rare sauce that you put on your pasta, and you got some hand pressed, dope ass, high ingredient, quality ass pasta and vegetables going in. That's Klay Thompson. He's the base and the foundation of just what that meal is, because his ability to stretch the court, hit that 3, sets the tone for everything else. Steph Curry, without Klay Thompson, I think both of them got put together and it just made something special and unique. You saw them help swing the pendulum of successful small baller perimeter ball at a new level, better than what the Spurs were able to do, better than what D'Antoni was trying to replicate with his teams. And they set a really dope precedent because they both complement each other so well, where it's like Steph couldn't have been as successful without Klay there to give him the window to get those one-on-ones as much as he did, and just play around with the ball, because the defense couldn't drop in on him as hard because they knew he just throw it to Klay, who's going to bust on you. And Klay couldn't have been as good without Steph because, all he had to do was just come off screens. He didn't have to ever try and be a real like Kobe type 2 guard where he had the ball in his hands, because Klay Thompson with the ball in his hands is not nearly as effective as you would like out of a 2 guard. I'm gonna say that's a limitation in his game. He's gotten better over the years, but like, if you were like, "Hey man, crunch time, get the ball in Klay's hands," you were like, "No,
I think
no."
You get it in his hands to shoot it, not to do anything else.
If you want him to handle the ball, initiate the play, nah, nigga.
No, but I think the Warriors still win a championship or 2, even if Klay's not on the team, mostly because Steph is that great. Like LeBron James won a championship.
No.
Oh, no, let me finish. Channing Frye was their 3-point shooter.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I gotta say no 3 more times.
Like, there are people that need to see the setup. People will collapse on Steph.
No,
Channing, you compare Channing Frye to Klay Thompson now.
I'm saying you don't need anybody that great to be a spot up shooter if you have somebody as dominant as Steph who handles the ball and that's going to stretch the defense, right? Like wherever Steph's going to go, that's where the defense is going to collapse, and all he needs to do is pitch it. The same way LeBron does, but LeBron has more of like, I'm going to attack the rim or kick it out. Like Steph's the same thing. Like he can still get to the lane, and people are going to try to block a shot or whatnot. But then it's just sort of a drive and dish sort of situation. And I trust the rest of the Warriors system to find somebody else to pair with Steph.
Exactly.
And then vice versa with Klay though. Like I think even Klay and Draymond, they still win a championship. But I think you'll see I don't think you see them win 73 games. I don't think you see them, I don't think you see them resting in the fourth quarter without all 3 of them. But I do think they're definitely in the playoffs and at least win a championship without either one of those guys.
Steph Curry's a less athletic Damian Lillard if Klay Thompson is not on that team.
What are you talking about, Jared? So you talking about on that team, right? Iguodala, Steph, Draymond, what was it, Bogut? Like that team still is making the playoffs. That team is still beating most of the
Klay
teams.
Thompson this is the thing. This is why this is like you gonna just serve me some pasta sauce with some salt in it. Thanks, Draymond and Steph. You gonna have a shitty meal. No, you need what's the base? No. What is the base of that meal? That's the pasta. You need the pasta and the fresh veggies in there. That's Klay Thompson. The other fresh veggies, like Iguodala. You want me to just put some pasta sauce on some broccoli and onions? Like, nah, nigga, give me the pasta in this bitch. Right?
Where do you? I don't know where you get your pasta from.
Here with the system. The system
Thanks,
is what Brandon is talking about. The system is where it's at because they can almost plug and play who's there. They can't like totally replace. They can't just listen. They can't totally replace Klay. But they can, and they have like changed their system up, especially with everybody that's been there, that they can still be a contender. they're not going to be like
they're not
favorites.
a contender right now.
They're not favorites.
They're a contender with Klay. Without Klay, they're nowhere near contendership.
I would say that they're contender, but they're
fighting for a playoff spot this year.
But the difference is, like, I think
they can definitely get like a 5th or 6th seed.
What I'm saying is, if there's no Klay Thompson, and you're talking about if Klay Thompson gets hurt and they have to figure out something right away, I'm talking about just they never drafted Klay Thompson. Like, I think they still should win a championship. If they, Bob Myers, Steve Kerr,
they had no defense. He was the best defender during this time. I know people like to hype up Draymond Green defense. Yes, he could guard different positions. He could guard a point guard for possession. He could guard a back to the back center for a few possessions, more possessions. But Klay Thompson was their best defender during this run.
He was their best defender. Who's the guy?
Steph Curry has shown when he has to be the man, and when you need him to put everything on his shoulders, he's not strong enough.
Steph gets hurt too often. He got hurt too often.
I'm worried he's going to get hurt this year because he's going to try to carry more. The Warriors made some smart decisions to bring in Oubre and a couple other people. And
Kent Bazemore, they just signed Kent Bazemore too.
That's really smart because they need someone. Look, we need all three guys to help to produce for Klay numbers, not to put more on Steph because he won't make it through a season. No, Klay definitely. They would not have won a title without Klay.
They might have won a title if they had Steph and KD, but they wouldn't have won the first title without Klay.
They wouldn't have won the first title.
My whole point is that Klay also made it.
They would have went.
Klay was guarding the best player on the best ball handler that the other team had. So if he had to guard their 2 guard, because their offense ran through their 2 guard, and that was their playmaker, he guarded him. If they had to guard the point guard because they didn't want Steph on a point guard, he guarded Kyrie. He guarded a point guard. If they needed him to guard LeBron, he guarded LeBron. He was
but you realize LeBron James averaged 37 points in the finals. Like, no matter who was going to guard him, he was going to score 40.
No matter who it was. Kobe was going to do Kobe things when Bruce Bowen was on him. It didn't matter, but did you make him work and make him have to
pass a few more possessions,
several more shots, or pass it away on certain possessions? Yeah. Did you deny him the ball? Are you that player? And that's what Klay does. Klay plays.
And the Warriors have players that did that can do that.
Who?
All right. So we're talking about the first championship, right?
We're talking about the first championship, man. Klay. You talking about? I know who you gonna say. You gonna say my man from North Carolina.
Harrison Barnes?
40.
We're talking about Harrison Barnes. We're talking about Barbosa. We're talking about Iguodala.
Barbosa is not a defensive player, bro. Come on now, you can't even.
It's not about him being a defensive player. It's about him being able to play defense. Like, it's not about him being like, oh, I'm going to come here, I'm going to stop you from scoring. Because guess what? If you put him on the best player, that person's still going to score. Like, who can eat up fouls? Who can make them work? Who's going to put energy on the ball? Like, that's what the point is, right? Yeah. And the same thing, like, to say like it's a luxury to have somebody who's good on both ends of the floor, like, and that's what Klay is, like, somebody who can go on the offensive sword, be a part of the offense, but then also go back on defense, right? Everybody doesn't do that, right? There's stints in the game where people make substitutions where, all right, cool, we need to get back in the game for offense, or we need to hunker down on defense.
If you traded Klay Thompson to any of those LeBron teams that went to the finals, I can almost guarantee you, like, 90% clip, LeBron wins 90% of those titles. If Klay Thompson was on every team LeBron was on, 90% of the time they would have won a title. They might have lost 1 or 2 here and there, but like LeBron James with Klay Thompson, with a player who can play D and can be the person who sets the tone. Like, he sets the tone for spacing offensively. He's one of his greatest impact in basketball has been his pure shooting ability and set the tone on the perimeter. Like, other players do not collapse the way they need to. And if they do collapse, it's open 3 season. So, like, that's the problem. And that opens it up for Steph to get the one-on-ones, to be able to penetrate, to be able to get that one-on-one look where they're not collapsing on him when he decides to penetrate, because, you know what I'm saying, they know Klay's right there. When you have Klay on the court, you know that defense is going to be worried about him, and it's going to make help defense non-existent or a lot less existent. That is a big difference when you have no help defense because of a player versus no help defense because you got Andrew Wiggins who don't know how to play help defense. Like, there's some players who are bad defensive players who don't know how to do help defense. There's some teams who are like, we can't play help defense because this player is on the perimeter and will torch us.
Okay, do we know actually how Klay Thompson got hurt when he was practicing?
He was working out, which means playing a pickup game, dude.
Wait a minute. Are you sure Tanya Hardin wasn't? Are you sure Tanya Hardin wasn't in there?
Sure, it wasn't JaVale McGee.
Hey, check out and find out where Tanya Hardin was. So I'm pissed.
I'll check her Twitter feed.
Hey, remember, Tanya Harding did not actually was part of that. It was her husband and her husband.
Cut
and
it
her
out.
manager.
Cut it out, Aaron.
It was her
She
trainer,
was
right?
part of it.
It was her husband who was the manager,
Aaron,
and like
you're
someone
not
else.
getting. Look at this. Aaron, you're not getting no Tanya Harding pussy.
That's right.
Stop putting up
Tanya Harding was not part of that. She did not.
So I like the way you said that, Aaron. Just remember that when people ask about, hey man, what y'all talking about on the show? Brandon was not a part of that particular conversation.
Somebody actually had an argument with me that the Warriors should have got Ball instead of James Wiseman. And we argued for this for like a good 30 minutes to the point where I almost threw my phone. Can I get y'all take on that?
But should the Warriors have taken Ball over Wiseman? I wanted them to get Ball just for the fun of what the clown and circus would be. That's what I was hoping for. I was like, I want to see one of them high yellow fake honey badgers out here trying to play ball and trying to do all the little loop-de-loop passes and hopscotch that he be doing. But I also was worried he was going to be not athletic enough and just not good enough to do the thing. I was like, the Warriors need a big man. So I was happy they got Wiseman. I think that's the safest pick. But Ball could potentially, as they were saying, be a super tight ball handler, distributor that could make the Warriors a lot of fun to watch in the future years.
Jared just wants chaos. All right, Brandon.
I think his time playing overseas will definitely help him make a better basketball player than any college would have. I think a lot of the sort of like the showboat and sort of like I'm gonna just shoot the ball from half court. That was him like in middle school, like and his first year of high school, and his first year of high school. So it's one of those things. Like he's definitely the best player that he played against in high school, and like I'm just gonna shoot the ball from half court. Like all the cameras are here to see me play. Like what would you do at 14, 15 years old? And you know your game's gonna be highlighted on ESPN later on that day. Like okay, well what am I gonna shoot from half court today? And I might make it, I might miss it. So I think he's definitely I think he's better prepared than a lot of the other draft picks are, just because of the shortened college basketball season they had, and then but also like he just played with actual adults.
When he was playing in Lithuania, that was like playing against the high school team.
He was playing against kids younger than high school. Brandon, I'm gonna disagree with Brandon on this. The reason why I don't think he got better playing what he did, everything was catered for him. He went to Lithuania. It was sold to us like he was playing adult league. Their league already ended. They used that as a way of them bringing out more money for their league, for their other teams. And so here's the thing. Their adult teams were like, no, we're done. We're not playing. They played against the junior teams. They played against high school 16-year-olds. And now I know you can say, well, he was around their same age. Problem is, everyone else on the team was older. We were men. So that's one reason he was killing it. Here's part two. Dad basically wanted to coach the high school team in wherever Chino Hills. So what did he do? He pulled him out to school. He put him in one of those sports academies. He didn't go to IGN. He didn't go to the one in South Carolina. He didn't go to the main ones that's built for basketball. He went to one that was in Ohio, that was built, or Indiana, wherever the hell it was. They were like an up and starting sports academy that's not really big. So they catered to his every need. They played a cream puff schedule. They didn't play none of the top academies except for one that was on TV. That was the only one they played. And here's the thing. He's never been coached. I don't know how he's going to respond to coaching. Even in Australia, people didn't know this. In Australia, the leagues, he was with that team. The league told the team that he had to play so many minutes a game. He didn't even play a full season. Go look at his stats. He didn't play a full Australian season. He was made. Everything has been catered to him. It's been worse than AAU ball. I don't think that this helped him grow as a basketball player. This is going to be pretty amazing. Jay Billis said, you know what? He's not a great shooter. He only shot 20% from the three-point line in the Australian league. We keep seeing the highlights from those few games that he was super flashy in that. Jay Billis also said he doesn't play an ounce of D, right? Like, look, for me, I'm like Jared. I'd rather see the circus. I give LeVar Ball credit. He built this. He Kardashianed his way into this, right?
Hold on. I think it's completely different, just because every NBA team has NBA scouts who have seen him,
and they said
either in person or
some of the NBA
film.
teams said this. Don't forget, this was one of the worst drafts ever. This is considered one of the worst drafts ever. Some of the NBA executives said it was the worst interview there. They said this. He seems like a good kid. He seems like he's positive. He doesn't do anything crazy, but it was one of the worst interviews we ever had.
as far as basketball wise, right? Michael Jordan is bad at drafting, Brandon. Let's not act like Jordan is as great as that. He is not in the top of that list where LeBron James and Rich Paul is. He's nowhere near it.
But everybody independent of Charlotte, right? They definitely had him in the top 10, right? So
I think they said that so someone stupid like Jordan would take him.
Can I just say Kwame Brown?
Exactly.
Kwame
is done.
Okay, wait.
What Jordan does, he tries to fill seats.
So did the Warriors?
I like it as a pick because it's going to help fill seats.
It's going to fill seats. You're going to get his millions of followers are going to be watching your team now.
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to add on to what Aaron said is that like he's touted as like, oh, he was playing with like grown men. He matured a lot. But what a lot of people don't realize is that even when he did go to Lithuania, those were like exhibition games. Those weren't like league games.
Their season was over.
They were playing in like high school gyms. And the only reason why he didn't even start in that league. He came off the bench, and the only reason why they actually got like filmed and shit was because of the TV show. So like other than that, like he wasn't like highly touted even when he went out there.
He wasn't playing like in Luka Doncic's league in the Spain leagues.
No, he was not. So then when he came back, like he said, he went to Ohio, and then they were beefing over there because they weren't giving him the playtime that his dad wanted. So they took him out, tried to form his own league. That shit went under. And then he went to Australia where it was like, oh yeah, he's playing with like grown men. Yeah. He only played like in 12 games. And even then they literally had to force the Australian coach to play him because it was like, we need butts in the seats.
They mandated it. They mandated that he play so many minutes.
I will answer my own question when I asked y'all. I still like James Wiseman more because it gives us a chance to win now. Whereas with Ball, we're gonna have to wait for him to develop. And even in his interviews, he came in with like a binder full of like his Instagram follows. It was like, hey, I got 6 million or 600,000 Instagram followers. This is why you should draft me.
He has millions.
Like, that's not even basketball related. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. And that's what it was like. Yeah, he did not interview well.
He's been in a world about branding. He's been living in a world all about branding. That's the thing. But one thing that I will take with as a tidbit that I heard, I think it was Jay Billis said, was that he played with Andrew Bogut in Australia, was on the team that he was playing on. And Andrew Bogut said, they quoted him as saying he was the best natural passer he's played with. Like hearing that from Andrew Bogut, who's a good passer as a big himself, that was the one thing I was like, oh, maybe there'll be something to his game. And that seemed to be the overarching thing about his game, that everyone was like, he's really good with the ball. He went against his older brother, Lonzo, who's one of the top defenders, on-ball perimeter defenders in the league currently. Yeah. And so going against that, you know what I'm saying, even though he's 4 years older than you, but going up against that over and over again, you know what I'm saying, he's going to have to, you know, be really good with the ball in his hands and really creative to get around somebody who's a really good defender his whole life. So maybe he could have some success. But I do also, you know, worry about his shooting, about his decision making, and whether or not his head is really in it to be the best basketball player possible, or just to capitalize on this, you know, brand or this experience and these opportunities that come outside of basketball.
See, the difference between somebody who doesn't play basketball, like I'm saying, I'm not going to disrespect all the scouts in the league who had him high on their draft, right? Like that, you can't necessarily buy that. Like you can't go around to every team and say, hey man, put me in your top 10, put me in your top 10. Like that's something you actually have to earn on some level. Somebody has to see you play and all agree on that, right? So even if you think he's about his brand, like he still had to get on the draft board on some way, right? Yeah. You can't sort of like, who's the guy from Green Bay or sort of these like draft workout warriors in the NFL where you're just going to put some fake 45 plates on it. Like, you really actually have to play basketball, right? You can't necessarily project. Everyone's projecting, right? Like your college, your high school is really just your credit report. We don't know if you're going to pay off or not. Like, but we have a guess. But anyway, shout out to LeVar Ball, man. Two kids, 2 out of 3.
If bad. One of them hadn't been stealing in China, he might have got drafted too.
2 out of 3, ain't
right?
Bad.
Still
ignorant motherfucker. Hey, he should be playing football. He should go play football, man. Hey, but I will say, do you want the guy who comes in like Brandon? You brought up the Major League movies. You want Rick Vaughn in Major League 2, or you want Rick Vaughn in Major League 1? The guy who has nothing but baseball in his life, the one who's like, this is his one way to make his name, or the guy who comes in is like, oh, don't touch the hand. I gotta go do a Nestle commercial in 20 minutes and like stuff like that. What do you want as a player on your team? So that's why I think they got it right with getting Wiseman. I think Wiseman was the choice. And they say Wiseman could be like a more skilled version of Hassan Whiteside, which would be a great starting point if that's what he can become as an athletic big, block shots, rebound, and change the game from the inside perimeter, especially against some of those bigger teams. And maybe he has more touch offensively to create and shoot. So we'll see.
That's all you need. The other thing, and I'm not sure if y'all know this, is that San Francisco has one of the biggest Asian populations in the U.S. and James Wiseman speaks Mandarin.
Oh, why does he do
something? That's gonna help him when he ordering food to go.
Yeah, that's gonna help him.
He just chose to speak Mandarin.
What's wrong with that nigga? Never mind. We might need. We might need
just jealous, Jared.
We might need Lamelo. Hold on. I don't trust that nigga over there.
Does he speak more Mandarin than you, Jared?
Shit. I think that means thank you. That's not even Mandarin.
Thank you. That means thank you. That is Mandarin. I think that's in both, Jared.
Yeah. So they're getting very eclectic, especially now in the NBA.
Shit.
Even the other rookie that Nico Manning. He's
man, that overrated clown. He was a guy that was a high school. He was a high school phenom.
He was viral in high school.
Players. He was viral in high school. He was a phenom. He was doing all kind of crazy shit. He go off to college, and Arizona have their worst year fucking ever. He had some decent numbers, 15, but he didn't help him win. I think that fool overrated, dude. I'll take Mike Pemberthy over him any day.
He's gonna have to back up Steph. So he's going to learn and learn.
No, and he's the reason they bought in Wanamaker from Boston.
Ooh, out of everybody, I didn't like that pickup at all.
Well, Marcus Hall would have been beautiful to have for the Warriors. That would have been a great addition, at least for this season. Beautiful white Spanish man.
Do you think we should have got Dwight Howard though, man? I feel like the amount of money he signed for.
Dwight Howard's
he signed for nothing though.
Yeah,
he signed for nothing.
No, what was it like 1 year for 2.6 or 2.4?
I think the issue is that they don't want same thing as like Hassan Whiteside. Like he's still an unrestricted free agent right now. I don't know if you want to put a dude like Dwight Howard and Dwight Howard's not a bad person. Let me say that, but he's playful. He's immature. If you want to call him immature, he's not. He never expanded and showed the work to. He showed the work to stay in shape, but never the work to improve and grow his game. And Hassan Whiteside speaks for himself, like leaving a loaded gun in the backseat of his car and getting it stolen. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit. Like you don't want dudes like that around a young, center that's going to be, one of the foundations of your team going forward. You want to have guys like I always say, like a Marcus Gasol, and Marcus Gasol could teach him on how to play the high post, how to pass out of the high post. Marcus Gasol would have been a great addition for the Warriors. I think he would have been more effective for the Warriors than he'll be for the Lakers. With the Warriors, he would be setting screens for Steph to open up, that end of the game, and then being a high post presence that can pass out of the high post to create, that spacing for other shots to be created, and backdoor cuts would have been great for what the Warriors are looking for.
There's still talk that we might be able to get Cousins back.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Like, is Cousins the right personality that you want? Is he the type of personality that you want?
Whoever they sign is not adopting him, and he's not gonna live with him.
I know.
But they may not even be their roommate. Like
but there's something
they work together.
There's a heavy, especially in basketball, there's a heavy influence when you're on the road.
But at the same time, anytime you walk into the Warriors locker room, you know who the leaders are on the team. It's not like he's coming into a space. He's not coming to a space where
Steph is married. Steph ain't hanging out with Wiseman, right? The problem is when you're on the road, you're going to be hanging around with people you practice and closer to in practice. And that's the problem. Like Jared said, you don't want that influence. It ain't the locker room. It's the hotel room, right? Like you hear the stories about the Lakers when they were coming up with Shaq and Kobe. A lot of the things Derek Fisher talked about, look, man, I learned a lot from the older players on the team, right? The guys like Rick Fox, the guys like Robert Horry, they were great locker room guys. What they mean by that is also outside the locker room. They talked about going to a club together, right? They talk about how to handle situational women together. Those are things you learn. You don't want someone immature there in that situation. Because look, someone like Steph ain't hanging around him, right? But someone like DeMarcus Cousins, like, oh yeah, let's go have a good time,
Well, I'm also saying, but none of those guys did anything illegal though. Like nobody, but DeMarcus Cousins,
a lot of immature,
and all those guys are over 35 now. You're talking about stuff they did when they were like 20. Like that was like Dwight Howard.
35. DeMarcus Cousins still 20 something, dude.
DeMarcus Cousins like maybe 30.
Well, the other thing is like everyone thought Thabo Sefolosha was just like a Swiss dude, real calm, great team player. Like the guy he out there drunk, yelling, getting mad at the police. They tackle him to the ground, break his leg. He out the whole season, and that's Thabo Sefolosha. We all thought he was just all about playing basketball, playing good hard defense on that perimeter.
He also ended up suing it was in New York, right?
It was excessive force, but at the same time, you out in the middle of the night, in the streets, and you getting in some kind of argument, a heated argument where the police are then tackling you to the ground for whatever reason. I'm not saying
and here's the crazy thing, because he was with the wrong people. He was with the wrong people, because Jarrett's right. Because here's the crazy thing. He was playing for Atlanta. They weren't even playing New York. They played another team that night in Atlanta. That night, he's in New York partying, getting drunk with some of his teammates and some of his former teammates. That's the thing and I agree with Jarrett. There's a maturity issue that if you're around the wrong people, look, Steven Jackson, that whole Pacer team, that team was talent tight. They were young and immature. They didn't have the right voice. Reggie Miller was too old to the point where they were hanging out with him. The problem is now you got Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal all hanging around each other. And what happened? Next thing you know, they playing in Portland tonight. The same night they have a game in Portland, somehow Steven Jackson gets arrested for shooting a gun at a strip club in Indianapolis after they get back.
Cutty Corner shout-outs. Cutty Corner shout-outs is the segment we end the show with. Everyone gets the floor to rant, complain, or highlight something positive that they've been thinking about this week. Anyway, Cutty Corner shout-outs. Cutty Corner shout-outs.
It's time.
We're burning now.
God, if you let it in, hell.
So cold and bleeding now.
I'm in for this, man.
Gonna let you down.
He had sex with my mama.
We're broken people now.
I just said I need a
Aaron, do you have a Cutty Corner shout-out?
I do, and it's very close to say you, and it ain't got nothing to do with that shout match you had before, or us not agreeing with you and you shouting. I can live with that here. What I can't live is with a 4.5 hour show. So it was close to getting to the Cutty Corner shout. You got me walking my dog. I'm worried that I'm gonna end up missing walking the dog this late at night. But anyway, my Cutty Corner shout out, and this is opposite of Brent. This is a serious note, goes out to college athletics. You know, people are always quick to point out what they don't like about NFL. You know, NFL football is my favorite sport. People are always quick to point out the owners, the players getting brain damage, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's true. It's true, but let's not look away from college athletics. College athletics has been in the news lately for all the wrong reasons, right? Not only are they canceling every other game, right? And you got some college coaches saying they're young. Mike Gundy, they're young. They could catch it and be okay. It's like a cold to them. You got other coaches saying that, you know, these are very Trump-loving right-wing coaches conservative coaches like Nick Saban, who they're not reporting how many kids really have it. They got it themselves. They're not reporting this. Games are getting canceled left and right. They keep changing the rules. First, the minimum was you had to play 8 games. All of a sudden, Ohio State had to cancel a couple of games. It became 7. I'm willing to bet they're willing to drop that to 5. But that's not even the worst. The worst part is a documentary came out today. KTVU just ran a big story, 30-minute story. And they also have it on their website, ktvu.com. It's called Surviving the Games. And it's the allegation of abuse in Cal's soccer program, women's soccer program, the abuse, the emotional and physical abuse that they have suffered from the hands of their coach, who's still coaching now. We also have the LSU. We had the tennis player came out. I forgot her name. It's Jade something. I don't wish to put it out there. She has come forward with her story. We're seeing all these allegations of violent sexual assault with the LSU program that won a national title last year that they swept under the rug. So my goes out to all college sports. It's not just the money sports with the Cal programs we see, it's even the sports that don't make as much money. College sports, you get a Cutty Corner shout out. I wish you just go away. Then, more people, sorry, Brandon, I know how much you love college sports, but fuck it, man. I'd rather just pay the pros. I'd rather have DeMarcus Cousins or whomever or Hassan Whiteside leaving a loaded gun in his backseat because he got the money to make a stupid decision than to have a coach make a stupid decision that affects other people's lives.
Now you misrepresented me.
What you say? You what?
You misrepresented my love of college sports.
That's true. I might be. Brandon is not part of this conversation right now that I'm having. Just to let everybody know.
You have a Cutty Corner shout out?
My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to Camping Out, especially for retail products and or food. I'm just going to say, unless you are homeless and you're standing outside to get a place to sleep that night, or your one opportunity to get a meal, there's no reason for you to be in a 2-hour or 12-hour wait line for a hamburger. A hamburger that you can very easily get in 2 months.
Wait, where was that at?
This is in Colorado.
In-N-Out in Colorado.
In Colorado. Also, the same people paying twice as much as retail for a PlayStation 5 right now. Why? I'm just like, okay, like I understand there's something new, you want to get your hands on it, but like I don't get the I don't necessarily get the appeal of being the first one, right? Much like our COVID vaccine, like, do you really want to be the first one? Like, really?
Gotta wait for that update, man.
Right. And I don't know if it's worth your time to have those sort of bragging rights. Like, oh, I went to In-N-Out. Let me get my Instagram on. Or the same thing with the Popeyes fried chicken sandwich. Like, these things sort of take off and people feel like I'm missing out if I don't get it. But I get it if it's something important. I get it if it's something that's actually going to change your life in some way. Not just like a couple Instagram photos you can post and or a different way that you could spend 12 hours. Like, oh man, I got this PlayStation 5. They got 3 games for it. And I can still play all the same games from my PlayStation 4, but it's new and I can take a couple pictures of it. Yeah, man, use that money. Spend that time, go on a trip, do something tight, learn something. Yeah, man. So all these people camping out, especially, Black Friday's coming up back in regular times, pre-COVID, people camping outside of Best Buy. I need to get this TV. I need to save this $60 and not realizing, you know what? You probably could just cut lawns. Like you could have cut lawns. You could have cut like 5 lawns. You made that $60.
It's not even the highest name brand on Black Friday. It's always the cheapest shit.
Right. It's not like you're getting the Apple Watch for 65% off. Oh man, let me get this Apple Watch on a discount. It's usually like, oh, we got this Insignia or this TCL TV that we we're going to throw out. But
I remember Insignia used to be expensive, and then I bought some Insignia. That shit is gangsta garbage.
By the way, I didn't know TCL was a real thing. I was like, I had to Google that shit. I was like, TCL, that sounds a little bit too cheap. And it was like, it came with Roku. I was like, what the hell's a Roku?
Roku was they got some seed funding. Exactly. Got big for a while. Got pushed out there, and then people realized it was just not a great thing to have.
It would be amazing to have that data, like how many TCL Google searches came from a Best Buy or Fry's Electronics. Like, so
they were all in cahoots together. They were all in cahoots to do. They were steering. That's insider trading, bro. Insider trading. I'm calling it right now.
For real, I was like,
us to buy shitty products.
You spelled TLC wrong. What y'all doing?
Yeah, it's like you talking about left eye or T-bars,
right?
Like, hey, they're literally like the Chili of electronics, though. It's like they look good, but they didn't have no lead vocals. Mr. Sticky Keys, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Know what? I'm gonna pull a Jared. I got 2 Cutty Corner shout outs.
Oh shit.
The funnier part is I can't remember the second one, but I'm gonna say the first one.
All right.
So my first Cutty Corner shout out actually goes out to and they're probably not going to hear this at all, but my brother recently just got married in Atlanta, so I had to go out there for a little bit, and we took all the necessary precautions. I did the testing before I left. I did the testing when I got back. I got tested when I was out there. It was a very, very beautiful wedding. Shout out to my boy Isaac, IT Taggart. Love you, man. My second one goes out to Xbox, that Series X. Y'all got like the most powerful gaming system or console system in the world, and y'all got some of the shittiest launch titles. That's why I'm not gonna buy that shit. Y'all got the remastered Gears of War. I ain't paying that shit. That Forza, I can't believe people still play that shit. And then I can't think of another game that y'all got that I actually want to buy. And little known fact, the last game of the year that was exclusive to Xbox was the first BioShock. Way back in like 2013 or 12. Y'all make shitty games too.
Yeah. Shout out to Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to the Hornets. You drafted my boy Lamelo. Then you signed Gordon Hayward to a $40 million a year deal. Are y'all tripping? That boy just 2 years ago had his foot facing backwards. He ain't been the same since, and I don't think he gonna get any better. And you paid him more than the already exorbitant deal he's getting paid. I guess my Cutty Corner shout out goes to the NBA, because when you think about it, I was wondering today, I was like, who fleeced the team or who stole money from a team? And I'll tell you this, a lot of these motherfuckers getting signed are making a lot more money than they're worth or than their playing time will actually reflect. So my Cutty Corner shout out goes out to bad free agent signings and the NBA always complaining about not being able to have any flexibility or being in the red, which has gotten better over the years. But y'all motherfuckers be signing fools of too much goddamn money and they ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to hear later on when you paying a dude $10 to $15 million a year and he literally played less than 1% of your minutes during the NBA season. Well, that is our show, my friends. That is our show.
You mean like that Nicholas Batum that they got away from Portland, overpaid him, and then he did not pan out, and they had to cut him to make room for Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, Nicholas Batum got paid too much. Well, Batum came off a career year finally.
At least I'm gonna do this with Gordon Hayward. He was all NBA at one point before the Boston. That was the reason they signed him. He used to attack the basket. A lot of people didn't realize this. He wasn't soft. He played above the rim. He attacked the basket. Once his foot cut back, turn around, you don't see him attack the basket anymore. He's sad, right? At least he put in some work at one point. There's some people that got paid that don't put in half the work. Joe Harris.
There's a lot of people being signed to big deals, man. It's crazy. You know, one person that I think really earned their keep, Fred VanVleet. The money he got, he earned that. He probably could have got paid more because he's been a not big time player, but he's been a clutch player for that team, and he's one of the keys, one of those role players who stepped up, who, you know, made shots, made plays, improved his game since he's gotten in the league.
Fred VanVleet?
Yeah. He earned his money.
I agree.
A lot of these other motherfuckers, they earned their money. Well, any final words you guys like to have before we depart?
You know what?
Yeah, man. Have a great Thanksgiving. Stay at home.
Exactly, same thing. Like, hey man, I'm having a solo Thanksgiving.
Half turkeys.
Casey, bye-bye.
They can hear you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Adira.
Bye.
I don't do that.
My last words are: chickens don't have nuggets.
Exactly.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
This is coming out after Thanksgiving, so.
Well, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Have a good Black Friday.
I'm gonna just say something real controversial right now.
Go ahead.
This is something I had thought about earlier, but I think it might be a little far left of what I normally talk about. And I think that you should be able to shoot any dog whose owner doesn't pick up after themselves.
Damn. I mean, I picked up every single
in the leg. Okay, I'm not saying kill dogs. I'm just saying
shoot dog, straight up shoot.
Or kill it.
Just
talking about BBs?
You should be able to. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but I think it will clean up the issue right away.
Yeah, it's kind of like Brandon, people open carry states. You know, you stop a lot less robberies when people think you got a gun.
You should hear about my punch in the face theory. Anybody that says the N-word, you should be able to punch him in the mouth as hard as you want.
Nah, because some of them might be big, man.
I mean that's the risk.
That's giving them permission to say it.
And
if they
I give you all the permission in the world if you want to say it. I just get to punch you in your mouth as hard as I want to.
I might not. No, that's gonna start more problems.
As long as you get punched in the mouth.
That's not fair because Kiegan, you a big nigga.